Have you ever heard a story so terrifying that it sends chills down your spine? Well, today's story is one that will do just that. Imagine being eaten alive by a lion, feeling its teeth sink into your flesh and hearing its roar as it devours you. How could something like this happen? Join us as we uncover the horrifying story of a man who faced this unimaginable fate. Get ready to feel the fear as we delve into this bone-chilling tale. The beginning. Our story begins in the heart of the African savannah, where a man named David had gone on a safari trip. David was an experienced wildlife photographer and had been on numerous trips before, but this time, things were different. David had heard about a pride of lions that roamed the area, but he decided to take the risk. David had always been drawn to the thrill of getting up close and personal with wild animals. He was a skilled photographer who captured breathtaking shots of elephants, giraffes, and even crocodiles. But his latest adventure was one that would test even his limits. As he set out on his safari, David couldn't shake off the feeling of unease that had settled in the pit of his stomach. He knew that lions were apex predators, and encountering them in the wild was always risky. Still, he was determined to get the perfect shot. As the day wore on, David's guide led him deeper into the savannah. The air was thick with the smell of dust and the distant sounds of animals echoing through the vast landscape. David's heart raced with excitement as he spotted a lioness stalking through the tall grass, her eyes fixed on a herd of gazelles in the distance. With his camera at the ready, David carefully approached the lioness, keeping a safe distance between them. He snapped a few shots, but he knew that they weren't enough. He wanted to capture the lioness in all her glory, with the sun setting behind her and the wind blowing through her mane. David's guide warned him to be careful, but he was too focused on his goal to pay heed. He moved closer and closer to the lioness, oblivious to the danger that was lurking nearby. Little did David know that the lioness he was photographing was part of a pride, and her mate was lurking in the shadows, watching his every move. The male lion was a beast to behold, towering over the female with rippling muscles and a thick golden mane that glinted in the sun. His piercing yellow eyes burned with an intensity that made David's blood run cold. Completely absorbed in his photography, David was oblivious to the looming danger. He snapped shot after shot of the lioness, her lithe form a thing of beauty against the rugged savanna backdrop. But just as he clicked the shutter, a loud noise echoed through the air, startling the male lion. In an instant, the beast emerged from the shadows, his eyes fixed on David with an intense predatory gaze. The photographer froze, his heart racing as he realized he was in grave danger. The lion was massive, his powerful muscles rippling beneath his tawny fur as he closed in on David. Despite his years of experience photographing wildlife, David couldn't help but feel a flicker of fear. He tried to remain calm, reminding himself of the protocols for such situations, but it was too late. The lion was upon him, his massive jaws opening wide, as he lunged forward with full force. David desperately tried to fend off the ferocious lion with his camera, but his efforts were futile against the beast's raw power. The attack was relentless and brutal, each swipe of the lion's massive paws sending waves of searing pain through David's body. He screamed for help, his voice echoing through the vast savanna, but no one was around to hear him except for the guide. The guide's heart sank as he heard David's panicked cries. He knew something was terribly wrong and sprinted towards the commotion. What he saw when he arrived took his breath away. The lion had a firm grip on David, his razor-sharp teeth sinking deep into the photographer's flesh. David's heart raced as the lion continued to maul him. He felt the searing pain of each bite and swipe, his body racked with agony. Time seemed to stand still as the attack dragged on, each minute feeling like an eternity. The guide felt a sense of helplessness as he watched the gruesome scene unfold before him. He knew he had to act fast to save David's life, but he was at a loss for what to do. Suddenly, he had an idea. He quickly gathered wood and started a fire, hoping to scare the lion away. But just as he was about to approach the lion with a fire, the lioness appeared out of nowhere, attacking the guide with deadly force. The guide's screams of agony filled the air as he was ripped apart by the lioness's claws. Meanwhile, the male lion remained fixated on his prey, tearing into David with savage fury. The photographer's body writhed and convulsed as the lion's powerful jaws tore him apart, piece by agonizing piece. In the end, David was no match for the beast's deadly strength. He succumbed to his injuries, his body torn in two by the relentless onslaught of the lion's attack. The savannah fell silent, the only sound the distant roar of the victorious predator as it celebrated its kill. David's passion for wildlife photography led him into the heart of the wilderness, but his encounter with a lion was a tragic reminder of nature's unpredictable and dangerous power. Even the most experienced photographers can find themselves in perilous situations when capturing the majesty of the natural world. Despite the risks, the allure of exploring the wilderness and capturing its beauty on film is undeniable. However, it's crucial to always respect and understand the potential dangers, as David's untimely death demonstrates. When authorities discovered David's body, it was a scene of unimaginable horror. His body had been torn apart by the lion, his once vibrant and adventurous spirit snuffed out. It's up to us to honor his memory by approaching the wilderness with caution and preparedness, so that others may avoid a similar fate. The lesson. This story is a reminder of the dangers of wildlife photography. While it is essential to capture the beauty of nature, it is equally important to take precautions and be aware of the risks. In David's case, he took a risk that proved to be fatal. We hope that this story will serve as a lesson to all wildlife photographers out there to be cautious and prepared for any situation that may arise. In order to avoid a similar fate to David's, it's important to take precautions when engaging in wildlife photography. One of the most important things to do is to research the animals you'll be encountering and their behaviors. This will help you to better anticipate their actions and avoid dangerous situations. For example, it's important to know when certain animals are more aggressive or territorial and to keep a safe distance from them. Another important precaution is to be aware of your surroundings at all times. This means keeping an eye out for any potential threats, such as predators or other dangerous animals. It also means being aware of any potential hazards in the environment, such as steep cliffs or unstable ground. It's also important to come prepared with the proper equipment. This includes things like sturdy hiking boots, a first aid kit, and a reliable means of communication in case of emergency. It may also include things like bear spray or other deterrents, depending on the type of wildlife you'll be encountering. Comparing David's story to these precautions, it's clear that he took a number of risks that ultimately proved to be fatal. He didn't appear to have researched the area or the behavior of the lions he encountered, and he wasn't aware of the potential danger he was putting himself in. He also didn't seem to have any protective equipment or a means of communication in case of an emergency. Overall, while wildlife photography can be a rewarding and exciting activity, it's important to take the necessary precautions to ensure your safety. By researching the animals and their behaviors, being aware of your surroundings, and coming prepared with the proper equipment, you can minimize the risks and enjoy the beauty of nature without putting yourself in danger. Thank you for watching the terrifying story of a man who got eaten alive by a lion. We hope this story served as a reminder of the dangers of wildlife photography and the importance of taking precautions when in the presence of wild animals. David's tragic story is a reminder that no matter how experienced one is in their field, there is always a risk involved. It is important to research and understand the behavior of the animals you're photographing and to always prioritize safety. As we explore and appreciate the beauty of nature, let us also be responsible and respectful towards it. We must always be mindful of the fact that we are entering the animals' territory and must act accordingly. Once again, we thank you for tuning in, and we hope this story inspires you to always prioritize safety when out in the wild. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more stories like this.